or have stabilized, the next step is for a takeoff. So the second half of the year is going to be basically taking off. Now, taking off, it means jobs, because you need jobs to be created to accelerate the economy. And that's exactly what I expect in this budget that Honorable Atuforsen has done for the last 6 months.
Honorable and Leader, I just want you to help me out in terms of parliamentary procedure and direction. What is going to happen this month? I know that there are certain businesses already that should be taking place. Yeah. Can you educate the public and just walk us through what is going to happen this morning, please?
Well, the media review is actually part of, proceedings for today. So whatever you see in the other paper will actually indicate that we'll be having a media review. Well, we have, as you said, there are procedures. So when we come, at least we'll pray and do other, things, basic things that we do. And then Mr. Speaker will usher in the Finance Minister to come and do read the media review. And then after that, leadership will indicate. After, responses from both sides, leadership will indicate to Mr. Speaker what other businesses we have, to do today.
Just help me again another education that we understand that Honorable Atuforsen would rather be more of a statement than a motion, and again, educate us and our viewers. So there wouldn't be any room in terms of a debate on what he will lay to Parliament. Because if you go through the Financial Administration Act, he's supposed to just update Parliament, and update could be just present the report. So again, help us with some education here.
All right, I wouldn't want to preempt what the Finance Minister is actually, going to be doing. But he has been directed. He's basically come to the House earlier on to dialogue with Mr. Speaker and leadership. So the nature of how this is going to take off, I think we'll soon find out, you and I, in the next few minutes.
Honorable, would there be a supplementary budget?
You are trying to make me a finance minister.
Which you asked before.
That's deputy minister before. But to ask me whether the finance minister is going to come by way of basically asking for some money or something is something that I cannot, speak to. We will have to wait for the finance minister for that information.
No, but you've been there. You've been there before. If it's going to happen, the documents and everything has already been prepared as we speak right now in terms of dotting down all those things.
Yeah.
You have a fair idea in terms of the corporate.
I do have a fair idea, as I indicated when I started. The first thing the finance minister, when we came to office, was going to do or has done is to stabilize the economy. You realize how much mess we were in. I mean, the economy was actually ill, and we had gone to the doctor, being the IMF. So we are patient on the IMF prescription, and we have followed that with our own, thinking, with the economic dialogue and stuff that we had. Now, we have seen it, that the economy has improved tremendously in the last 6 months. And certain fundamental things that the finance minister has done under the president, John Dramani Mahama. And we will begin to see the fruits. But as I said, the economy is about to take off. You hear many people saying that, inflation is this, exchange rate is this, but people are not feeling it. You know that in economics there's a lag. Okay, so when these things take impact the last time, well, we have, that's the 6 months. Yeah. So basically, to see what the 6 months has done will be what you see in the next 6 months.
Thank you so much for your time. And
my pleasure.
Let me come to Honorable Suhini, and also thank you for your time as well. I know for these media presentations, sometimes the sector ministers will be allowed to make some input. Have you made any request or submission to the minister to capture certain things to be done for you in this media budget review? Honorable?
Obviously, I mean, this is supposed to be a review report of how well the economy has been doing since the John Dramani Mahama-led administration took over. And in that review report, you should expect that ministers would have fed into it what they have been able to uncover at their ministries and the direction that they want their ministries to go. And for our sector, the road sector, you do know that one of President Mahama's biggest agenda is to revolutionize the way we fund infrastructure development in this country through the big push agenda that he announced during campaign, which he has stuck to. And so under the big push, we also do know that he has indicated that for this year, the focus is going to be on roads. And so you are going to see massive construction of major and critical roads across the country. At least the commencement of that will be witnessed within this year. And I expect that the finance minister will speak to these projects that the president intends to cut short for before the end of the year. You know that we have been talking about completing the Eastern Corridor Road. We have been talking about the need to complete the Western Corridor Road from Techima all the way to Hamley. We have also been talking about the Upper Corridor Road, that is Wa to Bolga. We've also had concerns about sections of the center, the middle corridor, where you have Ofanko under construction, but a number of motorists have been complaining about, the nature of the road and the maintenance of it by the contractor who is on site. So what His Excellency has decided to do is that as part of the big push, it will be supported, because the previous government began this project without a dedicated source of fund. And so what he is going to do is to complete this project and other such projects like the one all the way to Winneba from Kaswa, they will come under the big push. And so I am very confident that the finance minister, because we have done the presentation to the finance ministry to capture this, I'm confident that he will highlight that in the mid-year review report.
One last quick one I want to get from you is that we got the understanding that all other things being equal, the road tolls should take effect very soon. In terms of help us any clear date yet or period, and also in terms of the infrastructure as well, what is in place? There was talk about a more detailed system. What is in place right now as we speak, and some clear timelines on the take-off date, please?
So we are currently in the process of selecting, a company that will partner with government to deploy the infrastructure needed to begin the road toll collection, and it is at an advanced stage. That's all I can say for now, because companies companies that have expressed interest have had a meeting with the Ministry of Roads and Highways, and they have been given guidelines as to how to submit proposals, and those proposals will be reviewed very soon, and the contract awarded to the if you like, the best proposal that the ministry finds acceptable, and then the deployment of the necessary infrastructure for the collection will begin. And we want to finish all of this within this year, and that is the commitment of the ministry. So I can tell you that as we speak, prospective suppliers, if I can call them that way, or companies that are interested in helping government to deploy this are in the process of submitting their...
I got the understanding from the Deputy Minister of Finance that the Finance Minister will give an indication on the status of it, and it's taking off the next half of the year. So from you, it looks like it could take a while and maybe not happen this year. From what you're saying.
No. If you listen to all that I said, I ended by saying that we are committed to ensuring that it takes off this year. There are no... Probably, or even before that, because we are going to fast-track the processes. As we speak, once you get the company selected, the company shouldn't take a month or two to deploy the technology that is needed. And so we will do it this year. That is our commitment.
Would the charges also be factored in the fees and charges in terms of how much I'll be paying?
Absolutely. I mean, we have also even done the stakeholder engagement on the charges that should be approved by Parliament. We only a couple of weeks ago had meetings with the GPRTU. We had meetings with the road transport operators in general. We also had meetings with some road users. We have also gone out there and done some shopping, just asking people how much they think will be acceptable once we reintroduce the road toll. And so,
1 cedi, 2 cedi, or 3 cedi?
Well, when it gets to Parliament, when it is approved, there's a conversation, and there's a coalition, I'll say, around a figure that I think is reasonable and acceptable. And when we get to that point where it has to be announced, I'm sure that it will be announced and everybody will embrace it. And the procedure of collection will also be determined by them.
I appreciate your time so much. This is our coverage of the mid-year review of the 2024. But before I come to you in the studio, Koku is here with me, my colleague. We're covering this presentation together with the host of our producers in terms of the mid-year budget review. I mean, Koku, I was trying to get earlier on from Honorable Ricketts-Hagan about him running us through. What I know is that this is not a budget, and let's explain to our viewers. The minister paid the Public Financial Management Act before the 31st of July in that fiscal year should come to Parliament and update Parliament on how the economy has fared, because the last budget was based on data ending December. That is what he's going to do.
Exactly. So, just like you said, the PFMA provides that before the end of July, the finance minister would have to come back to Parliament to explain and to also sometimes review some of the data, because a lot of projections are made. Half year, you are obviously able to tell whether your projections are spot on. Do you want to revise certain things? So, what the finance minister is going to do is in the name, the mid-year budget review. The minister is going to review the budget that he made. Sometimes they ask for money. This time around, as we are learning, they're not going to ask for any more money, because what they are doing is to simply come by way of a statement, and then the finance minister will deliver that, and then they will move on. So just like you said, very instructive. This is not a budget. This is a mid-year budget review that the finance minister is going to do. And there's a lot of politics around this, obviously. In fact, right from Monday, the minority had kept insisting that the finance minister comes for a committee of the whole meeting. We understand that happened yesterday. In fact, we can confirm that it did happen. Of course, journalists were asked out of the chamber, but it did happen behind closed doors. The finance minister, with both sides of the house, certain key welfare matters all discussed, and all those issues have been trashed. Today, what we can tell our viewers also is that the minority will be in the chamber when proceedings begin, but just before the finance minister will begin his presentation, they will all file out. In fact, if you just go about 5 meters from
them all
in black, because they are protesting. They say that there are certain things going on with Ghana's democracy that they do not want. That is why they are petitioning the president, the diplomatic corps, Codeo, a host of other national institutions. So they are going to do that. So if you go 5 meters behind us, there are a number of buses, Land Cruisers that are ready for when the minority file past and leave Parliament. They are going to get into the vehicles and go to the presidency and present the press petition. As to whether or not the presidency will receive them at the same time the minister presenting the media budget, we do not know. But we know that the men and women of the New Patriotic Party are not going to sit through Keith Forsen's presentation.
Let me also I remember yesterday you spoke to the chairman of the that is economy, and he was categorical. I asked Honorable Ricketts-Hagan, who is also the deputy majority leader, sent to be corrected on that one, about a supplementary budget. He couldn't answer that question.
Yes,
I have had a situation where an hour before budget, documents have been changed.
And that's very interesting, because from where he sits, he's much closer to getting certain very key information as deputy leader. And he has also served in the finance ministry before. And so once he doesn't want to confirm or deny, it tells you that they want to keep their cards very close to their chest. And it's very instructive, the point you also make, that is the majority leader. They are going down there. Obviously, any moment from now, things are going to start. And so they're keeping their cards close to their chest, just in case there are changes. They do not want to come out and commit themselves.
Out of place, even with the major budget, documents have changed lastly.
And they do not want to commit themselves when there may be changes. But of course, the chairman of the Committee on Economy and Development was categorical. They are not going to ask for more money, but things can change any moment from now. The finance minister is here as we speak. He's in the speaker's lobby. He's going through his books. There may be calls from the presidency, there may be calls from other places that may force certain changes to be made. So until the finance minister goes to the days and start presenting, you can never be too sure as to what to expect. And that is why we are keeping our cards close.
I also sought to ask the deputy majority leader for clarity on about whether this will be a statement or motion. He also didn't want to answer that one, also because a statement means that no one can comment or debate. I stand to be corrected in terms of parliamentary proceedings. But why is the minister going this way in terms of not laying a motion but rather a statement?
I think it's because of the points they made while in opposition, because they used to fight Ken Ofori-Atta a lot about coming by way of statement, and they said that was the finance minister's way of circumventing the process for a vote, because normally they wanted to force a vote to some of the key changes that were being made, and the finance minister then, Ken Ofori-Atta, Carter and even later Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam did not want to do that. They always came by statement. And I think they've seen the wisdom in that. Because when you come by motion, a motion means you move, it will be seconded, it will be voted on. And you don't want to take the risk. Of course, they have 2/3 majority. They don't even have to be afraid of that. But the ACTA clause is that you bring a statement, it is commented on. It is a much more easier process to circumvent than coming by way of motion. Yesterday, the provisional order paper showed that the minister was coming by way of statement. And so, statement, the finance minister, statement of the media budget review. But the order paper for today hasn't been printed yet. It may change to a motion depending on what it's going to do. But normally when it comes by way of statement, then you know the minister is just going to tell you a statement. He's not going to ask for anything that requires parliamentary approval. And if the minister wants more money, Parliament will have to approve it by motion. If it comes by statement, it gives you an indication clear away that the minister is just going to make just a bare statement, tell you about changes, what they have done, what they expect, and then he'll leave.
There's a critical question. That is why people are even speculating on the supplementary budget, is that there is still lack of clarity about how they're going to finance the 24-hour economy. And that is where the big challenge is. How is it going to finance it? And that is where people are trying to get some understanding in terms of how it will be done. If it doesn't come through a supplementary budget, how is it going to address that?
And that's important because normally, and I see the Deputy Finance Minister, who try to grab him pretty shortly. What happens usually with some of these very key and important matters is that you need to be able to adjust. And even if you're going to move money around from the budget you already presented, you still need parliamentary approval because the money was approved for a specific function. And if you want to move them around, then you need the approval of Parliament. And so when we get the Deputy Finance Minister to come to you, talk to you, perhaps we'll get to know some of the understanding and what exactly he intends to do with some of these things, which are very crucial. The Deputy Finance Minister.
We have the Deputy Minister. Honorable, thank you so much for your time. Are we ready for the...
We are ready. The Minister is in the building. We are waiting for Mr. Speaker to enter, and then he will come and deliver the statement.
Are we going to see a supplementary budget?
I have already answered that we are not seeking more money. But he will seek approval for other things.
What do you have to tell Ghanaians? The concern is that, yes, the minister has been able to manage the economy prudently, but there is a challenge about inflation in the ABD or my pocket as well. The macro numbers, the lag time, the transmission time for people feeling these things in their pocket. What do you say about that?
There is always a lag, but you can agree with me that prices have started going down. We expect it to go further than it is now, but prices are sticky downwards, and so it is a gradual process. We are expecting inflation to go down further. I mean, this 13.7% is likely to go down in the next window, and so the signs are very good. I mean, so just wait in a couple of minutes. The minister is here. He will enter and he will deliver the statement.
Last 2 minutes, there's a fear that you've been able to close the taps in the first 6 months of the year. And that is why we've seen that prudence in terms of inflation and also the cedi as well. The president recently indicated that in the coming weeks after the audit, you will start paying contractors as well. You can even confirm for that if it's not true or not. The fear is that when you start doing payments and all the rest, the taps will be open, things could get out of hand.
As soon as, the minister completes the statement, you will agree with us that contrary to the perception that we are not spending, we are spending. We are spending a lot. We are actually implementing this year's budget. And I have not seen any budget in the history of this country that has been implemented so well like this year's 2025 budget. So you see clearly that we are spending. Of course, for arrears that we inherited, in this budget we indicated that we'll pay 13.7 billion. We will pay that because of the auditing and all that, the payment delayed. We have announced that at the end of this month we will start paying contractors. But we'll do it in such a way that the fear will be contained. All those who fear that as soon as we start paying contractors, we'll see the numbers. No, that is not going to happen. We have planned and we are implementing according to plan.
Well, finally, how is the minister committed to fiscal prudence? That is the biggest fear going forward.
You see, that is the difference between the management of the economy today and the management of the economy yesterday. You are seeing fiscal prudence, and the good news is that His Excellency President Mahama supports his finance minister to the core. And so Ghanaians should be rest assured that we will continue to stay disciplined in the management of our finances.
Honorable, thank you so much.